Morning, beautiful people, on a beautiful Tuesday morning of October 31st, Halloween. If you're not ready for snow, get ready, baby. Here we go. We have a great team meeting for you guys this morning. Here's how I'm going to kind of set the stage. A lot of organizational announcements and changes. Not major, just a few things that want to get the group up to speed on. Sheriff Reed is going to be going through some spectacular compliance issues that you need to be paying attention to. Okay. Lindsay's going to go through a few playbooks. We got training and education, and I'm going to wrap it up with the way in which that your mindset needs to be as we head into the fourth quarter and how you can leverage the gift of time on Sunday to take advantage of where it is that you are and where it is that you want to go. Sound good? Beautiful. Here we go. So, mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. One of the things that I always try and do is, from a communication standpoint, be as transparent and honest as to where we are and what we're doing. And so we have a few organizational announcements and things to make this morning to kind of get you guys up to speed as to where we are and what we're doing. So, first things first, last week, I want to give a big shout out to the combined ALCs across Milwaukee. It's the ALCs stand for our Agent Leadership Councils. It comprised of a group of those that make up our top 20% of our rosters across all 4 locations, which is Whitefish Bay, Innovation, Heartland, and Milwaukee Southwest down in New Berlin. And this group meets on a monthly basis, and 4 times a year we combine all 4 ALCs to get the group together. And last week, Friday morning, was our last kind of combined group outing of the year, where we spent some time together masterminding for people to get to know each other. Also, it's a time in which that the group, quite frankly, it's rare that this group slows down enough in order to make meaningful connections and collaborations. So I just wanted to say thank you to the combined ALCs between North Shore Innovation, Lake Country, and Southwest. We hosted about 40 people out at Heiliger Hegel out in Richfield, climbed to the top, had a morning of meditation, breathing exercises, and a variety of other things that this group discussed and talked about. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And as a heads up, for those of you that desire to be a part of the ALC conversation, team leaders in all of the locations are starting to begin the process for 2024 selections. And 2024 selections will start in November, in discussions in November and December, so that we can set the stage for a meaningful dialogue as we head into 2024 as a group. I think 2024 will be an incredibly interesting year from an ALC perspective, and here's why. I'm going to transition this into a little bit of a tangent. If you've been paying any attention as it relates to what's going on in our industry and some major class action lawsuits that have been happening the last 3 weeks, yesterday, both the plaintiff side and the defense side rested their cases as it relates to conspiracy theories around commission collusion. Okay? Here's what I tell you. We have to be able to control the controllables. I'll be totally honest. I'm not entirely sure what all will come, but change will come. That is a matter of fact, and we have to be ready for it. I will tell you, as an organization, we've already engaged our legal counsel to best understand potential outcomes as to what this means and how this impacts the way in which you approach your business. And the reason I bring this up to you is so that you know in the background we're being proactive to the way in which that this falls. And I do firmly and truly believe that those that participate on the 2024 ALCs will have a big impact and influence within our community in Milwaukee as to how we are reshaping the thought and conversation as it relates to our approaches in this business. So the reason I lead with that in terms of thanking our ALCs is I think there is a real opportunity in 2024 for those that serve on the ALCs that will be having meaningful and purposeful conversations around how the industry is being shaped moving forward, depending on the outcome of the way in which that everything falls. And I'm not sure how that's going to look, but know that we're being proactive in our legal counsel to it, and that we will continue to make sure that you have the resources and information you need as change is going to come within our industry. Make sense? Sweet. One other thing that I want to announce, and super stoked about this, is we're always on the hunt for talent. And it's been no surprise or secret. We've had a little bit of talent turnover within the Lake Country Market Center, hence why I've been out in Lake Country a lot more on a regular and consistent basis. And in my search for talent, I'm always having conversations with people. And the purview I'm having in the conversations when I have with people is always like, I wonder if they'd be good leadership talent. I wonder if they'd be good leadership talent. And a couple weeks ago, as we created some turnover within the Lake Country Market Center, I went to lunch with Nikki and I said, Nikki, would you ever consider being on the leadership team? And she said, and then we continued to have conversations as it relates to what it is that we do, how we serve people, and we found a lot of alignment in terms of our mindset and approach to servant leadership. Nikki is an incredible person. I've known her since my days back in Madison when we were running around on State Street. We go way back. I give a shout out to Kimmy Herbert. Kimmy Herbert was the one who saw the talent in Nikki after 8 years, or what is it? 8 years in teaching. She was 8 years in teaching in special ed. And Kimmy was a special ed teacher before that. And she said to Nikki, you should try this thing called real estate. Nikki left teaching, jumped in, was an agent for the last 4 years, had incredible success, and now is planning to make a life transition onto the Lake Country leadership team that I'm incredibly stoked to help lead her through and to that opportunity. So she's going to be joining the leadership team out in Lake Country as the assistant team leader, working directly with me as to how we shape our value proposition and working with the rest of the team, whether it be Mandy in North Shore, Deej in Southwest, Josh in innovation, and the rest of our teams, to making sure that we're providing the value in which that you expect out of us in the relationship and partnership that you have with KW. So Nikki, welcome to the team. And I've always said, I always say when I get resumes that come across my desk, because it's constant, which is great because people know that we have an offering opportunity. As soon as I see a teacher on a resume, I hire them no matter what. I've always had that rule, and it's never led me down the wrong path. Teachers are incredibly empathetic. They're incredibly passionate. They're servant leaders. So Nikki, welcome to the squad, and look forward to working with you. Cool. Another big announcement, kind of breaking news, and there will be a further dialogue that will be coming out moving forward. Don't worry, it's not people changes per se. But we have entered into a merger with Focus Title Transaction Management and Vox Services, which is led by Lindsay Weber and her team. So Renee, Leah, Julie, and Maureen are officially today now Vox Transaction Services. And here's kind of the background and deep thought to that. Years ago, we started this little transaction management thing because we saw a gap in the way in which that people needed help and support as it relates to leverage. Okay. And I think the very first person we pulled in to do this was Maggie Drain over in Whitefish Bay. And we started with one person who worked under the Focus Title brand. And all of a sudden, last year, we woke up one day and said, holy shit, we did 1,500 transactions, which for perspective, out of a universe in our world of 5,000, 1,500 of them utilized the leverage of transaction management. And we had gotten to a point where transaction management working under a title company that doesn't want to do transaction management or administrative support or administrative leverage, there was starting to be some ways in which that we thought we could do it better, in a way that we could create economies of scale and efficiencies to better serve our agents in order to help create more of an opportunity so that agents feel as if the services are acting efficiently for them, utilizing them in a way that gives them back time in order for them to focus more on driving income. And in that last year, we also had like labor is real and labor turnover is real. And so as we had some labor turnover within this team, I went to Lindsay and said, hey, Lindsay, like, we're the number one player in the space. You're the number two player in the space. What if we combine forces to make this like an incredibly powerful proposition for agents, for those that need it and want to utilize it? So officially, as of today, the Focus team and the Vox team are merging in order to create an incredibly powerful value proposition for you and your folks. What does this mean for you? Quite frankly, nothing other than the name changes. The pricing is all staying the same. The team in the background The platform is going to change for them a little bit, but we're working through those changes right now. You should feel no meaningful impact on your business or your relationship with those that utilize this service in any way. But we're looking forward to this group coming together and leveraging it in a way that adds a ton of value for you if you choose to use this service. Cool? Sweet. Emails are changing. Great question, Connie. Emails are changing. You will get a bounce back to the if you had historically used a focus title person. They have new emails at Vox Services. It's basically Renee@voxservices.com. But you'll get a bounce back, and then they will be reaching out to all their current book of agents that utilize their services today to help you understand the transition. But hopefully you guys feel no impact at all in this move. Cool? The idea behind it was we are stronger together than we are doing it independently apart. And that's why we did this move. Cool? So if you want to learn more, it's live today, and we're looking forward to serving you guys and you continuing to grow this business in a way in which that's meaningful and impactful for you. Cool. All right, next up, innovation renovations are underway. If you haven't checked it out, you should. It's pretty sweet. The other thing I'd tell you is they have these phone booths that have made me perk my ears to say, maybe these other locations need some of these phone booths too. It's a really cool space. Check it out. We're hoping there's some materials delays and things like that, but we're hoping to get this thing up and running pretty soon here. And hopefully for those that have utilized the innovation space or had closings in the innovation space, you hopefully felt minimal to no impact as we're working basically from 5 p.m. until about midnight every day so that we're not working during the business hours. But if you have any questions, concerns, let us know. Cool. Last couple things from and I told you there was a lot of organizational updates today. Last couple of things. Energage Workplace Survey. There was a reminder that went out yesterday. We currently sit at a 20% response rate. I would really appreciate if you guys haven't had the opportunity to fill that out. It would mean the world to me. We have to get to a 35% response rate in order to be included within the survey results. Again, it's totally anonymous. We actually don't see the results until they publish it within the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. But it's meaningful to me in the way in which that it's your voice voting amongst peers across all over southeastern Wisconsin in a lot of different industries. And we've been incredibly proud to place #1 the last 2 years in a row. So this is now live through November 15th, and a reminder email was sent out on Monday. Cool. All right, another change. We heard you. People are looking for buyer needs. And they said, well, if I was able to help this buyer find this listing, I would have another listing that would come to the market. So we've added a field in which that you can input your buyer needs as well. So be on the lookout. I know that Willis has been sending those emails on Fridays and Mondays in order to gather all the information in. And remember, this tool is only as good as what it is that we utilize of it and for it. And then we will continue to push it out to you Tuesday and Wednesday at the latest once we have an opportunity to clean it up. So be on the lookout for that we are now collecting buyer needs based on the feedback that you guys gave us. Lastly, from an organizational update, just be on the lookout. John Lorenz is this week's episode of 5 and 5 with Willis to get to know John Lorenz and who he is as a human. Check out his new coffee trailer. The amount of money he has raised, it's multiple 6 figures for This Time Tomorrow Foundation, is incredible. He's an incredible person, incredible human being. If you want to get to know him and understand who he is and what makes him tick, check out 5 and 5 that will launch this week. All right. With that, Sheriff Reed, I'm flipping it over to you to give these guys, what do they need to know around stigmatized properties?
Yes. Happy Halloween, everybody. I just noticed that the MAR newsletter also is pulling up this topic, and they actually have some real life spooky stories that happen to agents across our metropolitan area. But this comes up occasionally in calls that Steph and I receive about an agent taking a listing and an event happened there. They call it an occurrence or event that was notorious. It was not just that someone peacefully died in their bed, but there may have been a murder or a suicide or stories and tales of hauntings. So the agent is saying, I've got this listing, you go back. I've got this listing that just I'm taking, but there are rumors that the 3rd floor is haunted. Are you required to disclose it? No. And that's the key point that we want to get across today. Because when you're taking a listing, say there was an occurrence happened in the house, do you put it in MLS? Do you put it in private remarks? Do you disclose it to the agent population before they set showings? You are not required to disclose stigmatized properties, and that's what they're called. Unless they had a physical condition happen to the property. So if there was one of these occurrences and it damaged the house or caused a defect in the house in any way, then you disclose the physical condition. But as far as an occurrence happening, and now you can go to the next slide, of murder or suicide, haunting, they're called notorious events. And they did not physically damage the property. You as an agent do not or are not required to disclose this in your publications of the property. But what a lot of us don't realize is we have a responsibility to our client. So if you go to the next slide, does the client have to disclose this? And this is where it gets gray, because it's very obvious we don't have the responsibility to disclose, but our seller may have the responsibility to disclose. And as the combined heads of attorneys have come up with, they say if it resulted in physical damage, the seller would be required to report that on the real estate condition report. But would it have a significant adverse effect on the property if it would be difficult for the new buyer to resell the property, or for the existing seller to sell it if these events were known? The problem is, if the seller says, I'm not going to disclose that there was a murder here, 5 years ago before I bought it, but then everybody talks, neighbors talk, the new buyer moves in and finds out, oh gosh, it was really horrific, and they had to settle this problem. Or I've heard that there's hauntings in the house, and everybody who's been in the house has talked about experiences they've come across. If a new buyer closes and moves in and then finds out about these situations that they weren't made aware of by the seller, it could cause some kind of pretty bad disputes. And it may put your client, the seller, in a litigious situation. So that's a discussion you have as a responsible listing agent to, if you know about these things, if you know about the house being haunted or some notorious event happening in the house, have a good talk with the seller. Ask the seller, what would you think a buyer would do if they found out that this happened after they closed and moved in? And that's the discussion to have. Make sure your client is aware that if there was physical damage, they must report it. If there was no physical damage, there may be some emotional damage, or maybe some recourse that the buyer may want to take on the seller. Then you have to be careful. So doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. And check out the stories in the GMAR newsletter that came out last night, and you'll see some of the events. But it may get down to a point where you recommend to your seller, why don't you talk to a lawyer, see if you need to put this out, because you're not a lawyer. But that's it. That's my Halloween story for the day, but it's real. And as many things in real estate, we have to know what we disclose and what we don't disclose.
Beautiful. Sheriff Reed, thank you for disclosing what you need to know and what you don't need to know. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Frantic, what do we got from a playbook standpoint? There's a lot of things that have been brought forward from a resource and value that these guys should be paying attention to. And I want you to highlight a few of those. So Frantic, what do we got?
Yeah, so guys, mine is not Halloween or spooky themed, but the playbooks are really designed to give you actionable steps to into some of these different topics. And so Keller Williams within the last year released these playbooks. And a lot of them were released during Family Reunion back in February, and then quite a few more were released during Mega Camp. So there's a few new ones that I just wanted to take a little bit more of a deep dive into and explain exactly what's in them. So the first one is the Profit Share Playbook. So it's really designed to give you an overview of how the Profit Share program works. And how you can build up your business and your passive income with it. So if you're new to KW, or if you've just always kind of had these questions regarding, okay, what exactly is profit share? We talk about it all the time. How do I make this money? This is going to break it up into two different parts. It's going to explain profit share and how you can participate in profit share. So it actually gives you best practices on how to lead gen and engage in more of those active conversations and different conversation frameworks that you can have with other people who are maybe looking to get into real estate or maybe a co-broke. And so it gives you some really great tips and tricks into how you can incorporate that into your business and how to build your profit share. So I like to kind of, go through this concept. The universal truth is that people do business with people that they like and they respect. And so your mission is to be likable and respected by more people on a daily basis. So not only with your business, but with profit share too. That's a concept that you can kind of just keep in mind when you're thinking of building up, your downline and things like that. So that profit share playbook is really going to explain it. And I think a lot more detail. I know me personally, I sometimes get confused on how it works, and this playbook really breaks it down really, really great. It's got different graphs in it, and so it's really easy to read too and comprehend.
Yeah, Lindsay, one little chime in here. There's 800,000 reasons why you should want to download this playbook. If you don't know what the 800,000 represents, you should probably wake up, because someone's taking advantage of the 800,000. Second thing I'll tell you, since they've released this playbook, it's the most downloaded playbook in the of all the KW playbooks that they've released. Something you may want to consider taking a look into. All right, Vranek, next one, AI for real estate agents.
Yeah, so a couple other ones. So I think a lot of us have started using AI in our business. And so Keller Williams actually created a playbook for AI. And in that playbook, they state, so according to the 2022 technology survey conducted by NAR, 42% of real estate agents believe that over the next 24 months, artificial intelligence or AI will be somewhat or very impactful to the day-to-day operations of their business. So people are really adopting this, and you're seeing it integrated more and more into the different platforms that we use as well. So what is AI? It's a powerful productivity tool that can save you some time and help you do the activities that you may not be good at or enjoy doing. It's a tool that uses large amounts of data, plus models and algorithms, plus prompts to produce a desired work product. So whether you are, writing your MLS description or creating some social media posts or a blog post, AI is a really impactful tool and really used to help you write that content and create content that you can, reach out to consumers with. So the playbook is designed to introduce AI into your business as quickly and easily as possible. So it includes different hacks that will begin to save you some time and effort. So it kind of walks you through some different AI tools that you can start utilizing, ChatGPT, Google Bard, and it gives descriptions on each of those, how to create your own prompt, set the right tone. You want to make sure that the content that you're pushing out, it sounds like you, and how to review and improve those prompts and the content that the AI tool is providing you. So it really walks you through step by step on how you can start actually incorporating this into your business. It's not just telling you what exactly is it, it's actionable steps on how you can use it. And then finally, the last one, which I think everyone should take a look at because Your database is your business, and we need to assess that database every so often. And now is a great time to do that before the end of the year. So as it says, accessing your current database's value and conversion rates, and its opportunity to get you started on the path to greater profitability rates. So it walks you through a few different steps, doing the math, how to slow the spend, increase the quality of your sphere of influence touches. The best part about this, in my opinion, is it includes a very long list of needed and useful touches. So if you're like, okay, tomorrow's November 1st, what am I going to send to my database this month? And it gives you very specific ideas of different things that you can post on social media or send out to your farm via 12 direct postcards. And so it's really, really helpful, you guys. They're very, very specific in the ways that you can utilize this. And those different touches, I think, is brilliant. And then inspect what you expect. I love that it has actionable exercises for you to do, how to calculate your conversion rate. So, taking the number of contacts in your database, and then your database conversion rate, and then that should equal the number of transactions your database should yield. So you get a really good perspective on, okay, if I've got, 15,000 contacts in my database and I'm only converting 4%, or what I should be converting, like how many transactions is that? So really good steps, really good examples in here that you can take a look at and start implementing. So all of these playbooks, you guys, if you scan the QR code, that'll take you into the Google Drive folder that will have every single one of these. And so we've done a lot of different trainings on, I think, 5 of the ones that you see here. So we have YouTube videos on seminars, open houses, newsletters, social media, online leads. And so we've done marketing masterminds on some of these, kind of taken even more of a deep dive into those. But all of these playbooks you'll find in that Google folder. You'll also find a link on our website, directing you to all of these different playbooks that you can download and save to your computer, view them at any time. They've also been updated to you guys. So there's different versions. So if you checked out the open house playbook back in February, it's been updated, just little different updates in some of those, but if you want to take a look at those again, Keller Williams is actually actively updating all of these as well. And those have been updated on our end as well. All right. And so, as I mentioned, November 1st is tomorrow. So we've got a jam-packed training calendar in terms of our marketing masterminds. So a lot of really great topics, I think, that we have going on this month. This week, we're covering the sales pipeline. How do you really utilize that at a high level within your opportunities, creating those different checklists and tasks. And then we're going to focus on how to lead gen during the holidays and how to utilize social media during the holidays. So preparing for that. And then at the end of the month, we're going to be talking more about the new agent websites that were released about a month ago. So that's it.
Beautiful. All right, let me ask you a question. If I said 2xx and 2xy, what would you say? 2x your database, 3x your activities. 2x your database, 3x your activities. Okay, here's what I wanted to get your mindset wrapped around. There are way too many people that I hear that don't know how to create scale or where to start in creating scale within their business. They don't know what to do, or they want to diversify because their business has become complacent and stale and they don't know what to do. Here's my challenge to you. The playbooks lay it out for you in a blueprint way in which that you can follow step 1, do step 2, do step 3, do step 4. Okay. If you want to get out of a place of complacency, or you need to diversify what it is that you do, the playbooks are designed to do exactly that. The problem is you have to do something as it relates to implementation. And that's always the biggest hurdle as to why people can't create scale, is because they don't know how to implement. The playbooks help you do that. 2x your activities, 3x your database. All right. With that, I'm flipping it back to Kadi for upcoming trainings and events.
Good morning. Hi, friends. For those of you who know who I am, I'm Miss Rachel today. For those of you who don't, Be grateful. November training calendar is out. We're going to highlight some of the things that are coming up. We'll take a more deep dive into them as we get into those weeks, but I'm going to start with the next slide, Charlie, and our special guest, Janine, who has an event coming up this Thursday.
Who in this room or wherever who has a vision board? Who has an updated vision board? Okay, those of you whose hands are down, I'll see you Thursday. Bye. 9 o'clock, vision boards. It's not only what you want to manifest physically, materially, but really what it is. It's how you want to feel. So that helped me in the last couple of years really dial down how I wanted to do my vision board, because I've been doing them for 17 years. Every year I hang it either in my closet or in my bathroom, and you guys, it works, because what you focus on expands. It does work. What I have been doing the last couple of years is I think of 3 words that I want to describe me or I want to attain to. And that helps me solidify the feelings that I want to go for in my next year. So one of them for 2024, I'll give you a hint, for me, is fun. I mean, so simple. So what does fun feel like to me? What does it look like to me? So that's going to be pretty easy when I'm working on my vision board. So I really would love for you to come on Thursday. I heard a rumor that breakfast will be served. Boards will be provided, markers, magazines. I encourage you to bring your own shit. If you have a note card that someone wrote to you that is meaningful, put it on your vision board. I would love for you to look at that every single day, because how did that make you feel? You want to feel more of that. If there was, words of encouragement that made you feel great, write those down and put it on your vision board. Those are the kind of things that you need to see and manifest every day for the rest of your life. So this is kind of a beginning. I'll bring a couple of examples that I've done over the years, and every year, you guys, it is completely different. Like one year, there was had nothing to do with work. I looked at it and went, oh my gosh, I must be shifting, or I must really need rest, because it was all yoga, books, vacation, plants. I mean, it was nothing. And I went, okay, this is really what I must need this year. So that's what I concentrated on. And I did it. So please come, and you don't have to be in productivity. Everyone should do it. And if you have an extra pair of scissors, bring those too. Thank you. See you Thursday at 9 o'clock. Here. And we'll have music and whatever. We'll do whatever you want.
All right.
9 o'clock.
All right. Also, next Wednesday, we have another guest on our contract training. We have Jared coming to talk about different MLS reports. So that'll be available on Zoom, and we'll record it and post it to the YouTube channel. Next up, we have financial literacy. We're talking a lot about working on our databases and in our businesses right now going into tax time. So we have a really great guest, Nicole, coming on to talk about financial literacy to help us get prepped for that fun time of the year that we all love, which is taxes. This is a really great event Willis has put together for us for anyone needing a refreshed headshot, something new. If your picture is from 30 years ago and it's time to change it, sign up, scan the QR code. They're 5-minute sessions. We're doing it after a team meeting here in the North Shore. So it's only a 5-minute session. So come to team meeting, sign up for your thing, get some new free headshots, and head out on tour after. All right, we have a very special guest joining us. Should be a familiar face for a lot of people who've been here for a while. Tommy Choi is making the trip up from Chicago for a special event that we're doing. So please save the date. It's early for December 7th. Everyone should be there. It's going to be at the War Memorial right on the lakefront from 9 to 11 o'clock. We have a really great event that we're going to be putting together. More details to come, but save the date for December 7th to spend the day with Tommy Choi at the War Memorial.
Listen, I'm just gonna tell you something real quick, okay? If you desire to build a very big book of business that is based on repeat and referral, you want to be there on December 7th. Okay. The guy does $100 million a year. 97% of what he does is repeat and referral through his sphere of influence and database. But by the way, working in downtown Chicago is a very transient community. What do I mean by that? People come and people go all the time. So they don't have very deep or meaningful relationships in a way in which that it's difficult to build a long-term repeat and referral business. The other thing about Tommy, he's incredibly relatable and he will help you understand how to build your brand that speaks to who it is that you're trying to speak to. I would highly encourage you to check out December 11th with Tommy down at the War Memorial on the lakefront. Cool. All right. Last thing, and Kadi, I'll just take this one too. Good news, bad news. or good news, great news. Okay, depending on your purview. Good news is you understood the mission. The mission was I asked you to RSVP for the holiday party if you plan on coming. You know what the great news is? 497 of you have replied. It's going to be a great event. And here's what, if you aren't part of the 497, I just need to know if you're coming so that we can plan accordingly, because my budget just increased exponentially now, realizing how much bigger of an event this is. And we're planning a really fun party for Friday night, December 1st. The other beautiful thing for those of you that don't want to go downtown all that often, there's no Bucks game. There's no anything else from a competitive standpoint. So parking should be easy. If you want to spend the night, the Kate's a great hotel. But just please, if you don't mind, RSVP so that we can plan accordingly as we get down to planning purposes here in the next several weeks. Cool. All right, here you go. And I want to finish with this, and I was purposeful in why I finished with this. Okay? Because I need you to hear me if you totally tuned us out for the last 30 minutes. Okay? And I want to play with you something that someone shared with me the other day as I was thinking about what it is that I desire or want out of life in 2024. Because you have an opportunity on Sunday in a way in which that you can leverage time to work for you, not against you. Okay? And so take 90 seconds and stick with me here, because I'm going to play with you. I'm going to play you a little video that someone sent to me of an incredible person that I try to put in my ears as much as possible from like the early 1950s. His name is Jim Rohn. Okay, so here you go.
But things didn't seem to change that much. Then I started working hard on myself to qualify. So let me put it in a philosophical phrase now. This is worth the price of whatever it costs for you to be here today. Here it is. Success is something you attract. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by becoming attractive. Here's what we teach in leadership. To attract attractive people, you must be attractive. And the whole scope of this we call now personal development. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. If you can multiply your value by 3, by 5, you can easily multiply your income by 3, by 5, by 10. But the key to doing it is to work hard on yourself. I didn't mind working hard on my job.
And so it may sound like we had a lot for you today as it relates to a lot of different announcements, a lot of different training and education, a lot of different things like that. Okay? How are you becoming attractive should be your ultimate focus in the fourth quarter to set yourself up for 2024. Success is attractive. How you become attractive is what you have to work on and implement. Okay? And I'll challenge you with this because somebody else sent me a different note as it relates to Sunday. And last week at Bold, we talked about getting 1% better. Okay? And how do you launch your days with power and purpose? My challenge to you is this: your morning routines have to have power that shape our days because the dawn hours hold few distractions. Okay? And stay with me here for a second. Most people, if you think about the way in which you schedule your days, and I'm 100% guilty of this in a positive way, I schedule anything that takes a ton of mental focus before noon. I get my workouts in at 5:30 in the morning. I get my reading done in the morning. I do everything I need to give the most amount of energy in the morning, because I know by 2 or 3 o'clock, and you can talk to anybody who works on my team, by the time they get to me at 3 o'clock, I'm fried. And if they have a big decision that needs to be made, I'm going to tell them we'll do it tomorrow. And I know 99% of people are very similar in that way. The other power and purpose to it is by the time I get home and I need to focus on those that need the most amount of my time and attention, I can do so because the biggest decisions of my day have already been done, and they don't linger by the time that I need to sit down with my kids, right? And so my question to you is, on Sunday, when we have daylight savings, do you fall back or do you reset into a new routine? Because here's the challenge to it. Your body is already trained to get up in a way in which that it's used to based on the time it's given. So you have an opportunity on Sunday to gain an hour, not sleep an additional hour. And you have an opportunity to reset your clock as it relates to how you reset your routine. Okay? And you have to invest that time in something that makes you stronger, healthier, smarter, or happier. Okay? I've been pretty public for those of you that know me. I've been on this journey for the last 2 years. I am up every day at 5 a.m. Every single day. Every single day. Saturday night, I went out to a Halloween party, had a little bit of fun. I was up at 5 a.m. on Sunday. Okay? Every single day. Consistency and discipline is what it takes in order for you to create focus and to create a disciplined purpose. How you start your day determines how we create our life, right? And are you committed to waking up each day with passion, purpose, and a plan so that you can create the life you truly want and deserve? And how do you launch your days with power and purpose? Okay? And you've heard me say this 100 times, and I'll repeat it 100 more times. Life is about choices. How do you live a life of purpose so that you can make the right ones? That's my challenge for you as you go forward, and you have an opportunity on Sunday to reset your routine in order to become the most attractive person to attract success. Make sense? All right. Thanks for sticking with us today. Guys, have a great day. Lake Country crew will jump over to Lake Country Meetup where you get to meet a little bit more about Nikki. The rest of you have a freaking awesome October 31st, and let's hope it continues to snow. Snow, snow, snow. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks for being present. The world is run by those who show up.